York Rangers agreed to a 2-year contract with K'Andre Miller worth $3.872 million. So this is an expected move that it was going to be a bridge deal. The Rangers didn't have the cap space possible to give K'Andre a long-term deal. So, it's a 2-year contract. Once it's up, he'll still be a restricted free agent in 25-26. And, in terms of for the next 2 years, I think that's, totally fine as far as that cap hit. He is, when he's playing well, he's certainly worth more than that. But on the flip side, if he does do well these next 2 years, it's going to cost you a lot down the road, which is why, for example, it's different, but you look at the Hedl contract where it's like, okay, that's a 4-year extension and, it's not a super, super long-term deal, but that's one in which, okay, like, if he does well, you could have that on a bargain contract. Here, there's only 2 years of that. So, again, if the Rangers were in a different situation, they might have given K'Andre, who, look, we'll talk about his season last year, and there was ups and downs, more ups than downs, I would say. But, I think in an ideal scenario, the Rangers would have probably given out more of a longer-term contract, but they didn't have the ability to, right? And so now the Rangers have about $3 million in cap space left, and they have to sign Alexis Lafreniere. Figure that'll probably come in at around $2.5 million, which will leave the Rangers with about $500K, approximately. Something like that. So none of this is overly surprising. It was a matter of when, and now we're here. So again, K'Andre, 2-year deal worth $3.872 million on the cap. And for K'Andre, look, he's been a really, really good NHL player in his 3 seasons. He came in. His first season was that 56-game season. It was that weird realignment year where you had 8 teams in, I guess, was it called the Eastern Division? I think it was. And K'Andre did a nice job as a rookie. That was David Quinn's last year as coach. And K'Andre, 53 games, again, out of 56. 5 goals, 7 assists, 12 points, and a +9. Then he plays all 82 games in 21-22, Draw Gallant's first year, and 7 goals, 13 assists, 20 points, a +23, and a playoffs in which he played 20 games, had 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points, and a -5. But, even though there's that -5, I felt like the 22 playoffs for K'Andre was a good one. I really, certainly I'd have to think about it in terms of, like, which series he was better in than others, but I felt like he was making a real impact. Now let's fast forward to this past season. Goes 79 games, and the reason why he didn't go all 82, and that's the good thing about K'Andre. K'Andre's been durable, so that's been good. K'Andre was suspended for 3 games for that spitting incident with Drew Doughty. So, that was not great by any means, and I feel like his game took a little bit of a dip. The stats may not bear that out, but it felt like it took a little bit of a dip. His overall number is 9 goals, 34 assists, 43 points, +12. So the plus-minus was not as good as the year before, but the offense was a lot better. And then we'll talk about, and the playoffs was the 7-game series versus the Devils, just 1 assist and an even rating. I thought the playoffs was really not good for K'Andre. He is one of the Rangers don't have a very, mobile team. He is one of the players that does provide mobility. There's no doubt about it. He is, fast on the blue line, and what I always think about with him is that the sky's the limit. He has the physical tools and the traits to really be one of the better defensemen in this league, and he's getting there. And I think what's impressive about the regular season was, again, like, he did not get many power play points, maybe a handful, but he put up 43 points, 34 assists. Like, the offense is getting better for K'Andre, clearly. And he is, no pun intended, a key player on this team. And it's important that he, takes the next step. There's still room to grow for K'Andre. Again, I feel like there was inconsistencies. I thought that, and a lot of this, a lot of the blame goes to Trouba, but I thought that the Miller-Trouba pair early on, when the Rangers had their early season struggles, that pair was bad. Then all of a sudden, once they got better, they were, I thought, maybe their strongest defensive pair, even more so than Lindgren-Fox at times. So that's an important duo, and we'll see if that continues, right? I mean, I would be curious to kind of switch things up, but at the same time, it's probably going to be K'Andre Miller with Jacob Trouba. But Miller is going to be someone that, will probably be a Ranger for a long time. However, given the cap situation and the uncertainty, we'll just have to see where things are at in a couple years, right? And again, he'll still be under team control. He'll still be an RFA. So this is not overly shocking news at all. Was curious to see where the number came in. I don't think you can really complain with the number. That 3.872. Like, you knew it was going to be right around there, give or take. So I don't think, it's the fact that it had to be a bridge deal. It just, that's the issue. There was no choice in the matter. And the Rangers are just up against the cap. They simply are. And all they have left is room for Alexis Lafreniere. Now, if any other moves are made of significance, they're going to have to get rid of players. And I just don't know how easy that's going to be. They don't really have that luxury. We always talk about Barclay Goodrow, but easier said than done on how that goes. Again, would I have loved to somehow move out Artemi Panarin? Yes, I would. I still stand by that, but that's just simply something that just wasn't realistic and isn't realistic. So, the Rangers, they have, 2 or 3 years here where they have a lot of these players under contract. And so that's kind of this time frame that we're going to see what happens. Again, the next 2 to 3 seasons, really more 3 seasons of this window of this core to see what they can do. And K'Andre Miller will certainly be a part of that, and ideally will be a part of that beyond. Because I do think that he is someone that is a very impressive player at, a 6'5", 210. Would like him to be more physical. That's not really part of his game, but he can be. Again, we've seen it. I definitely just recalling the 2022 playoffs, we saw it then. And, so we know his capabilities, but K'Andre Miller back, not unexpected, on a 2-year contract, cap it being $3.872 million, and probably the next news item, unless something crazy happens, will be Alexis Lafreniere. We will see when that comes to fruition.